I'm Bridget Lake, President of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. And we're here today with Wayne Culver, running for Seminole County Court Judge Group 6. Our premier virtual Eastside Regional Hob Nob is presented by Lucas Land Group, an Oviedo-based family-run business with interests throughout Central Florida. Our sponsor, Duke Energy, and our radio sponsor, 96.5 WDBO. Now, before we get into our intriguing conversation, let's watch a quick commercial from our sponsor, Duke Energy.
I know what I want from my energy company. I want to know that my power is always on and that my family's energy is cleaner and safer. That's why, as a Duke Energy lineman, I'm working hard to make that possible. I absolutely feel honored to make a difference in our community. It's a good feeling knowing that I'm helping to build a smarter, reliable energy future for all of us, for my family and yours.
Now we're back with Wayne Culver, running for Seminole County Court Judge Group 6. And one of our candidates is the Eastside Regional Hob Nob. Let's start with Wayne. How are you doing today?
Doing great, getting accustomed to using Zoom for the first time.
I completely understand.
Yeah, I was worried. My car battery died when I dropped off my kids, and I had to go get a battery, and I just put it in. So I was worried about the car and then getting it fixed, and then all the technical stuff with this, but we're going to make it through this.
Well, good. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a fourth-generation Floridian, and I was born in Jacksonville. I'm adopted, and my parents adopted me while my dad was in the Navy, and so we moved around a little bit. And then after he retired, we moved down here. In 1977, we moved to Seminole County, and I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school, all here in Seminole County. Went to Valencia for a little while, then went to UCF, graduated from UCF with a history degree, which means when you get a history degree, you usually wind up going to graduate school. And so at the time, I went to Suffolk University Law School in Boston, Massachusetts. I wanted to do intellectual property law. It's one of the best schools in the country for that, but I did not wind up doing intellectual property law. But I did a lot of real estate for real estate firms, and when I graduated from law school and passed the Massachusetts bar, I was a real estate attorney for a while. And then my mom's health was declining at the time. It was about 2000, 2001. And so I came back home to Florida. I had a house here that I was renting out while I was in law school, and passed the bar here and worked as an assistant state attorney in Brevard County in Titusville for about 3.5 years. Then I started my own practice for 5 years, and I did dependency. That's dealing with Department of Children and Families, taking children from the home and trying to reunite them and getting them through that process. I did criminal defense work. I did real estate, family law, bankruptcy, and a whole host of things. And some personal injury, not very much. And then when I met my wife, Tara, I thought it would be a great idea to be a public defender, because a lot of the cases I took in private practice, one time I took a punishable by life case where the guy was looking at mandatory life. I took it for $500 because I knew he was innocent. And I thought I was better geared, instead of running a business, to being an assistant public defender. So Blaze hired me 11 years ago, and I've been working there ever since. And it's great because I can drop off my kids every morning. I can pick them up every night. I don't have to drive very far. I can cook my wife dinner. And so when she comes home, everything's going great. So that's my life pretty much up until now. But it's just been a great treat to be a lawyer. It's a wonderful job.
That sounds amazing. Can you tell us more about your family? You said you have a wife. How many kids do you have?
We have 2. She told me that we were going to have a son first and a daughter second, and she was right. Tara is an accountant. She works for the city of Orlando. She's a CPA, and not to brag, but she's doing a great job for them. She's pretty high up. She's a deputy director of finance, assistant controller. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And we have Evan, he's 6. And that commercial we saw, he really likes. He wants to be a lineman. After he watched that commercial, he wanted to, work on electrical poles and stuff. And Olivia, she is 4, and she wants to be a doctor, she tells me. So we're working on that. But they're tremendous. They went to Oak Arbor Christian School to start, and now they're at Evans and Wakaiba Elementary School. He just finished kindergarten, and Olivia's going to start VPK hopefully this fall. And we had to do a little virtual schooling the last couple of months, and we got through that. But they're great. They're tremendous kids. If I'm working on something, I can be working on the yard, and they'll come out and they'll ask me, how can we help? I mean, they come out, and Evan will, I have to give them jobs to do, even though they don't really need to do them sometimes, because they just want to help all the time. If I'm working on something, working on a car, Evan and Olivia, what are you doing, Daddy? And it's just great. Even with the campaign, we've gone out and canvassed and done different things, and they always want to be a part of that. So I thought I would be dragging them around, and they would be upset about it, but they love it. And it's been great. The family life, I waited 45 years before I held Evan, you know. And so it's just tremendous that they're such wonderful kids. So just blessed.
Well, that's amazing. And it sounds like I was in the Navy when I got out of high school, and it sounds like you're from a military family. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. My dad, he joined the Navy in 1950 and retired in 73. And he was electrical, he was a Master Chief. He was actually one of the youngest people to make Master Chief in the history of the Navy. He was the 43rd youngest person to make Master Chief in the United States Navy. And he was married before. He had 5 kids. And then when he got divorced and he met my mom, they got married, and you know, they went everywhere. My mom had never left Florida before, and as soon as she got married, off she goes to Nova Scotia, because he was flying out of, you know, Newfoundland and going to Iceland all the time. And but he got into aviation electronics, and so he worked on the airplanes during Vietnam. He worked on the A-6 Intruders, which at the time was one of the most advanced airplanes that the Navy had. And they would fly missions and bomb the SAM missile sites so that the B-52 bombers could do their job in Vietnam. And then after the war, he adopted my brother. We got adopted while my dad was in the Navy. So we spent most of our young life at my grandparents' house with my mom. And my grandfather, he only had my mom, the one daughter. So he was thrilled to have 2 little boys to play with. But once my dad retired in 73, he went to school, got, undergrad, master's degree. And then we moved down here, and he was at Research Park eventually. It was originally the Orlando Naval Station. And he was he did all the simulators. So if someone were to buy an airplane, some country were to buy F-15s, he would help them put the simulator in the building and things like that. And then he moved on to other parts of civil service, drafting the documents. So the people who were teaching the pilots, he was like a technical writer type of thing. So that was my dad's career, and he retired in 92. And then he was a volunteer for the Citizens on Patrol here in Seminole County. He was the guy that gave you a parking ticket if you parked in a handicapped parking spot. That was his raison d'etre at the time. He really liked giving people tickets for that. So that's my dad, Sam. He's actually in the hospital right now. I'm going to go pick him up maybe either later today or tomorrow. But 85 years old, and he's the toughest man I've ever met. He's great. So, but I'm very proud to be, the son of a sailor. When the family, when the person serves, the family serves. So even though he was very young when I retired, he was gone for the first 4 years of my life. And so, that's, I'm getting choked up. When you see those people reunited at a baseball game or at school or whatever with their kids, that was me. So it was great. It was great that he was served, and I'm very proud of him, but I'm very glad he safely made it home.
Very true, very true. Well, thank him for his service.
I will.
So you hit an important topic. You went through all the areas of law that you had tackled. What area of law did you what area of law did you like the most, and which one did you like the least?
Well, I I always joke that, they don't write books about real estate attorneys. They write books about, criminal law. And criminal law it's fascinating. The behavior of the people, the law is always changing. It impacts people more than almost any other type of law. If you're the victim of a crime, it's life-changing, and it can, or life-ending. It's tremendous. And as a steward of the law and I was an assistant state attorney for 3.5 years, and I did all kinds of cases from DUIs all the way up to attempted murder. And when the surviving family members of a decedent from, harmed by another person in a crime, when they come to you, I've had victims, I've held, family members as they cried, through my suit, because they were so affected. And so it's to be able to get a degree and then work in a profession where you can impact other people's lives. You can't bring back the dead, but you can make people who are going through the process, even as a victim or as a defendant, if they can fully understand what's happening and feel like the people who are participating in it really care, then that's it. To me, it was amazing. When I stepped foot into a courtroom for the first time as a prosecutor, the lights went on. I was like, I did the right thing. When I was practicing real estate, I was good at it, but I felt like I'd made the wrong choice. So real estate, everyone's happy because you're selling a house, you're buying a house, there's lots of money. But it wasn't what really made me want to go to law school. The hardest part of law is family law. And I did not enjoy it very much. It's hard because people who are fine people, their lives are being torn apart and they're very emotional. They'll fight. All they have left sometimes is the fight. And so I found that very difficult in private practice. So I'm very happy to be a public defender, and I just get to do criminal law, and I'm never late to work. I'm there early every day. I just enjoy it. The people I work with are fantastic. The judges, I think most judges enjoy criminal law because, there's public defenders and there's prosecutors, and our job, our profession is to be there every day and to do the very best we can. So it's very different from civil, where people argue over money or they're getting divorced. We know what we're doing is extremely serious, and the gravitas of that, we appreciate. And so we are very nice to each other. I have the prosecutor's cell phone numbers. So at this time where I'm not in my office, if I need to call them and say, hey, I just got a call from the jail, I have a client who needs an offer from you, please look into it, and I'll look into it. And, we work together to solve problems, because a lot of the people who are in the criminal justice system, suffer from drug addiction and things like that. So even though punishment is what the prosecutors typically are looking for, a lot of times if I ask nicely and I can humanize my client, they work with me to get them the treatment that they need. So it's not always what people think when it comes to criminal law, but I really do enjoy that.
Very interesting. So my next question is, what is the greatest trait that you bring to the bench?
Understanding. I've been in I've done just about everything you can do with a law degree, in my opinion, especially in a courtroom. I have, seen people who are just destroying their lives, and I'm trying to help them as a defense attorney. I see sometimes clients that want to fight their attorneys. I see prosecutors that are brand new that are looking to do the job the right way. And through being that attorney, that young prosecutor that went from doing real estate to doing, criminal law, and, law school doesn't really teach you enough how to be a prosecutor, how to be a defense attorney. So it's the understanding of, I know that attorney's brand new and he or she is just learning. You can't get upset with them. You can't be frustrated by that. You have to be patient. And I think being a father really helps as well, because everybody develops through their career, just like a person develops as a human. And I think the understanding of, I know the defendant, I know the situation that they're in, I can feel empathy for the victims because I've been a prosecutor before and handled their emotions and explained to them what's going to happen. So I think the fact that I've done what I've done for as long as I have. I mean, I've been at this for 19 years, and I've spent nearly every single day up until now with the pandemic in a courtroom. So I think that will aid in, helping me be a judge that truly understands what's going on from all the parties' perspective and making the right decision at the right time.
And now we really need to get into the part of talking about running for office right now. And what was that defining moment that made you realize, I'm running for office?
Well, this is my second time. As far as me wanting to run for judge, Judge Friedland over in Titusville, my very first judge that I was in front of, I watched him, how he handled people. He had been a public defender for a long time. He had been in private practice, and he was very patient and understanding, exceptionally knowledgeable. And he helped me grow as an attorney. And I talked to him one day. I said, I really enjoy doing this. I would love to be a judge one day when I have enough experience. And he said, well, if you do it, run for county court judge. It's a good job, and it pays about the same as circuit, and you don't have to worry about the death penalty and things like that. And I was like, that's great. But when I was thinking about running for judge, and one of the judges in Seminole County, he looked at me and he said, what took you so long? It's like, yes, but when you print up all the things and you pay that filing fee and you start seeing your name printed on signs, it's a weird feeling. It's kind of like, is this really happening? Am I really doing this? And then the same judge that told me it took you so long, he said, it's on you. Everything. It comes down to you. You can't, you can ask for help, you can ask for money, whatever you have to do in a campaign, but it comes down to you. You've got to put the signs in the ground at 3:00 in the morning. And the night of the last campaign, I spent all night putting out signs at 80 different precincts, and I didn't sleep that night. And then I had to be out all that day. So it's not like an epiphany when you're going to do something like this. I think it's you gradually get into it. But when you see that sign in someone's yard and people reach out to you and say, hey, I'm going to support you, I want to help you, that was great. Jim Vicarious, when he had lunch with me and he said, you ready to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to do it. He goes, all right, you need to learn how to ask for help. So it's been great. So that's been for me, as far as running a campaign, being able to ask for help, but always knowing that it comes down to me at the end.
Mm-hmm. And I have one last question for you.
Okay.
What makes you stand out from your opponent?
Well, experience and dedication to the law and to my profession. I know my opponent, and she was a probation officer, and then she went to law school, and she was a lawyer for a little while, and then she went to the police academy, and then she sold recreational vehicles for a little while, and then she was a prosecutor, and then she went back to selling recreational vehicles, and now she's back in private practice. So I've been an attorney since I was sworn in Massachusetts and in Florida, and I've loved every day of it. There's no better place for me than in a courtroom. And by being a judge, it's the same room, it's just a different view. And so I think what makes me stand out is that the people of Seminole County will know that I will get up every single morning and I will never dread going to work. And I just love the practice of law. And I've never wavered from that. And I think that's what makes me stand out.
Well, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us today. And we look forward to having you at our East Side Regional Hob Nob on June 30th. This was such a pleasure. We have Wayne Culver running for Seminole County Court Judge, Group 6. Thank you so much, Wayne.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Have a great day, okay?